guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a video on the bags that I've had in my collection that I feel have not been wearing the best, the ones that I noticed that have the most scratches, creases, color transfer, how the same bag but in different leathers just behave a little bit differently. And I'm also gonna show you how I store my bags, how I clean them, and just overall how I take care of them. This video was a bit requested in the past couple of months, so I really wanted to sit down and do a proper roundup on just the bags that I have that are not wearing the best and to give any tips that I can. So let's get comfortable, grab your coffee if it's the morning, a glass of wine or a snack if it's a little bit later on the day, and let's talk about bags. So the thing is that a few of these bags I bought them directly from store, and some others I bought them pre-loved, so they can be vintage or just a few years older. So some of them I'm not aware of how their previous owner treated the bags, but I can tell you how I store them. So a few of these bags came already with a wear, but I still think it's important to note because they are quite specific. With that said, I'm gonna start with the one that I consider that has the worst wear in my opinion, and this is something that I just feel like should not happen. And I've talked about this plenty of times before, but this is my Louis Vuitton Speedy Bandolier 25 in Damier Ebene in gold hardware. So I got this bag myself directly from the store, brand spanking new, and literally a few months after I bought it, I started to see the hardware just wearing really bad. This one is the bandolier version, so it does come with a strap. The problem is not the canvas, it's just the hardware of the bag. I've taken it to Louis Vuitton a few times to see if there's anything that can be done. I'm gonna try to show you. It's just tarnishing so much and it does not look good at all. The bag started to look like this, I would say, after a few months of owning it. I've taken it to the store plenty of times and I have asked them if I can replace the hardware or fix it, and a few times I've been told that they can, but that it's going to happen again. Then I just don't see the point on why I would spend my money on replacing the hardware if it's gonna happen again in a few months. So I've just kind of made my peace with the situation, and I find all of this quite sad because for the price point of the bag it should not be doing this. I have heard mixed experiences from the comments from people telling me, yeah, my Speedy is doing exactly the same thing, and others that just have had their bag for years and years and this is not a problem for them. So honestly, I just don't know. I am really confused. I don't know if I should go to the store once again and to see if they can do something for me or just let it be and enjoy the bag as is. It's particularly worse on these ones. Like you can see they're pretty much almost black. I do consider this one to be the worst because I do understand that bags are supposed to have wear. I understand creases, I understand scratches, I understand the leather stretching, even hardware scratches are completely normal, and I'm not someone who's gonna shy away from using my bags just because I'm scared to damage them in some way. So I really do consider that I put my bags into proper use without babying them too much. However, when bags do things that are out of my control like this, like I just don't see how I provoked this, and it's the only handbag that I own that is doing this, so I just feel like it's not okay, and that's why I'm putting it on the worst. The next few bags are all very much understandable, but I just think like this is one of my most kind of worn out bags. I bought this one pre-loved. It's not vintage, but it's quite an old bag, and something that I do want to note is that I think this bag is wearing like this because it is Epsom. So this is my Birkin 30 in blue celeste in Epsom, but it's still in the return style. So as I said, I got this bag pre-loved. It was already like this and quite loved and used before I got it, so I knew the little details that it came with, and it's basically that the leather stretched a lot on this area. This probably comes for the bag being overstuffed and just being properly used and functioning for the person who owned it before. I don't really see anything wrong with it. I think at some point I'm gonna have to carry more things, and if I have to put something inside of my bag, I'll just do it. These bags are meant to be worn, doesn't really matter if it's a Birkin, so I don't really mind. But I also have a pre-loved Birkin in grey Togo. It's a 35, so it's even a bigger bag, and I have found that when it comes to Hermes Epsom leather versus Togo leather, when it comes to the Birkin in the return, not the Celiac style, Togo ages a little bit more gracefully, just in terms like it just becomes slouchy, and Epsom is for more structured bags. So what ends up happening is that instead of becoming like soft and a little bit more squishy, I don't know if it's the word, when it happens to Togo, Epsom ends up looking a little bit more bumpy. So I think that's what I can explain, but it definitely only shows on certain light, because if I show it like this, you pretty much cannot see it. The other thing that I've noticed is the discoloration on the handles, because of course this is a lighter bag. No color transfer at all, like you can see the bag, it's quite perfect. But I'm gonna show you the handles, and I just want to note I've cleaned them time and time again, and I think this bag just needs to go to spa, but it just looks a little bit dirty, and that needs a little bit of love probably. I'm gonna go over how I usually clean my bags and store them, but for this one I've done the same that I've done for the rest of them, but I do feel like this one needs some extra care that I cannot provide myself, so I'm probably gonna wait a little bit more, and I'm gonna send this one and my vintage Kelly, that I'm gonna talk about that too, to the Hermes spa and see how they come back. I think that would be a very interesting video to do. I have never sent any bag to spa before, so I cannot wait to see. But overall, my notes are the structural changes on the bag and how the leather is sagging, and I think this one is doing this because it is Epsom. Honestly, I don't really care. I love and use this bag so much, but these are probably never going to go away. I store it with organizer, with a pillow insert, so it's not too full but also not empty, so it falls on itself. I do pretty much everything, and I don't think this will ever change or go away. Now this one is going to be a very good example of why I always say that I love lambskin more than caviar, and I know that many people don't believe me because lambskin is a delicate leather, but for some reason I've just had a very different experience. So I'm gonna compare this bag and this bag. I bought them, I would say 6 months apart. This one I bought it in January of 2019, and this one was June, July of 2019. Pretty much 6 months apart, but I can tell you that I have worn the gray one a little bit more than the blue one over the years, just because it's a color that I feel like it's easier to pair year-round versus the blue one. I tend to use it more during spring and summer, while gray is more for every season, for me at least. This bag is the classic flap that I own that has the most wear that I can show. It is in caviar, in light gold hardware, no color transfer or anything like that. That's never been an issue for me. I'm quite careful when it comes to the clothing. This bag is in the medium size, and the color is some sort of like Tiffany blue. That's how we call it. And for some reason, despite being caviar, that I don't really have that many bags in caviar anyway, I'm gonna try to show the best that I can, but here on the bottom you can see the sagging and that it has a line, so it's basically the weight of the bag onto itself. I have tried storing this bag multiple different ways, even laying down, and nothing has helped. This is just the way that the bag is wearing. And of course, with my bags, from time to time I bump into things, and when it comes to lambskin, you can most of the time just rub it off. And with this one of the little caviars, I've tried catching on camera, but I just cannot. Like the scratches, they're not gonna go away. I also want to share how the corners have been wearing. Like, just overall, for some reason, this is one of the bags that I've always noticed scratches, corner wear, everything a little bit more than on the others. The bag has an organizer inside, and still it has not really helped with the shape. I do believe it probably has to do with the exact type of leather that they used for this collection, because it is a very soft and shiny caviar. But yeah, you can pretty much see it right here. This is how it looks on the sides, and the scratches thankfully are not really that easy to show. But in contrast, I wanted to compare the bag to this one because, as I said, I got them pretty much around the same time. This one is in a very light lambskin. It's also a medium size, from the same year, and I've actually used this bag way more than the blue one, and I just want to show you the condition of the bag. So this bag is a medium classic flap. This one is in silver hardware, and I just wanted to put the bag side by side so you could compare the bottom, basically, that the gray one does not really have that issue as the blue one does. This bag is just not sagging at all on the bottom. It's not losing any type of shape. This one also has an organizer inside. It also matches the color, so I use organizers for pretty much all of my bags, and I'm going to talk about that. But also the bag has no creases, no color transfer, no visible scratches. Like, I would say that this bag is in almost brand new condition. If I didn't know that I wear it as much as I do, I just could not tell. And I'm also gonna show you the corners on the bottom of the bag so you can see. This is the corners of the bag and the edges. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I just feel like lambskin ages better than caviar. And the reason why I'm comparing them and showing you all of this is because I just feel like there's this misconception about lambskin that yes, you need to be careful on the rain. I've never taken this bag out if it's raining, and if if I have a scratch. You can even use the dust bag and just rub the bag and the scratches will go away. I'm referring to very light scratches, not big ones, because of course you can get this bag scratched and it's not gonna go away. I'm not gonna say that everything goes away. So if you're someone who just likes the look of lambskin a little bit more than Caviar, I just hope that this video is a bit helpful and encourages you to just go for what you like. If you prefer Caviar, yes, it's easier to clean. It's not that serious if you get caught in the rain, and you just don't have to worry as much. But with normal use and being considerate, both of these bags, I can just see a lot of difference between one and the other. I do think that we have to consider the fact that no lambskin is the same, no Caviar is the same. It's always kind of different leather that they choose. My Chanel Jumbo, it's probably the sturdiest Caviar that I've ever seen. Like, that bag can go through everything and it looks perfect even if it's from 2007. The next bag is the Lady Dior, and with this one I'm not really sure because yes, I can see always a lot of wear on the handles, but I can always clean it up with a baby wipe because this bag is lambskin, but it's a very matte lambskin and white. I've noticed that it gets dirty very easy and super fast, but it's always kind of wipeable. You can see the handles, which is probably what I was the most worried about when I got it. This is the bottom of the bag. I have noticed that with time, the bag just looks a little bit like dusty. The bag kind of already came like this, but you can see that here on the back, it has a little bit of like a darker shade to the leather, and sometimes it can look like color transfer, but I just feel like it's the leather that it needs a very good cleaning probably. I don't know, I take really good care of this bag. I've never worn it with anything that can give it color transfer, so in that front we are good. But I have definitely seen the difference between a shiny lambskin versus this one that just stains easier and it's a little bit harder to keep up. But when I get to clean it right away, the stains do come out quite easy. This bag is vintage, it's from 1995 and it's a Kelly 28 in black box leather with gold hardware. I love this bag so much. You probably cannot notice the wear that it has from far away because the leather is so shiny and so rich, but when you do close-ups you can tell the scratches and the discoloration of the leather quite easily. You can see a little bit right here, and on the back it's a little bit easier when you have the proper light. So basically all through the back of the bag I have quite a lot of scratches. The corners also show wear, pretty much every single one, and pretty much all the strap, like it's creased so much and it's been worn so much that it just shows a lot of wear. This is all quite normal, especially for the type of leather that it has, but I feel like the bag looks in such a great condition. As I said, I think I'm gonna send it to spa with the blue one at some point. The bag is almost 29 years old, so I feel like for that age it looks fantastic. And the thing with box leather is that it is very prone to scratching, especially when it's black. It just shows a little bit more than with colors, but vintage bags just wear so amazing. But structure wise, I think the bag is literally perfect. I have no complaints. I love this bag and I wear it a lot. This one is kind of a bonus because it doesn't really have wear, but I got a lot of questions under that video if I could include what I've been noticing on this bag. Since I do wear it very often, I would say that I wear this bag at least once a week. This is my Chanel Pearl Mini. This is a very special bag for me. It took me years to finally add it to my collection. I fell in love with the bag when it got released and it took me quite a few years to finally be able to add it. When I initially got it, I thought that this was going to be a bag that I was gonna wear only on special occasions, but it turns out that I just find it quite easy to just take out every time that I just want to wear the bag. I really love using it, and the questions that I got about this bag is because most people tend to not wear this bag that much, so of course mine is probably gonna show wear a little bit faster, but so far I don't see anything. If you ask me, I think at some point it's gonna start to show some scratches on the pearls because the pearls are what's basically rubbing against the clothing, also when you're laying it down. But when it comes to losing a pearl, no, I have no issues with that so far at all. I did have some issues at the beginning with the structure of the bag because it is a very heavy bag because of the pearls, and the body of the bag is in satin. So again, I did get an organizer for this bag and it has helped me so much to just keep the shape and to be able to store it, and it's not just like a squishy mushy thing. But let me show you more close-ups. The bag is literally perfect. This is the bag that I was actually wearing yesterday and I've used it for trips. I pack it. If I'm gonna take a trip, I usually take it with me, so it's gone places. Again, with this, I just want to say, if you have a bag, you want to use it, you don't have to save them for special occasions. And if they get a little bit of wear, it's fine. Like, I know that at some point I'm gonna scratch it or something, and that's the whole point of why I have it. But it's definitely not as delicate as I thought and as many people think. So yeah, the bag is literally perfect. So those are the bags in my collection that I can tell that have the most wear. Now on this part of the video, I just wanted to give the tips of how I usually store my bags, how I clean them. As I said, I do love using my bags the most that I can, but I also try to be smart and find ways to properly care for them so they last longer, and also storing them properly. So I'm gonna start with the Birkin as an example. So for me, handbag organizers are usually a must. I have plenty of reasons to love them, but the first one is because they help keep the shape of the bag in the best way possible. I usually buy organizers from Samorga, but Samorga had a rebrand and it's not called Samorga anymore. It's actually called Bag & Sense. I'm gonna link their website on the description box down below. They make handbag organizers for pretty much any bag that exists out there, and they also have multiple colors because I usually try to match the interior of the bag so it does not contrast a lot. The second reason is because handbag organizers have pockets, so basically when you're using the bag, it's just a little bit easier. When the bags are on the bigger side, I always get the organizers with the cup holder. It has pockets here, 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 so it's easier to find things inside of your bag, and they will just keep the shape of the bag better, but also avoid stains, spills. Some bags have leather interior and your keys can scratch the inside. I've had this happen a couple of times. If you're someone who takes pens out with you, pens can also stain your bags. And these organizers, you can just toss them in the washing machine and it's gonna be perfect. And in my opinion, it's just easier to use a bag because you have where to put things and you can find them easier. You don't have to worry that much. So I'm a really big fan. The second thing that I love using are handbag pillows. And this one is from Bag Essential and it's literally for the Birkin 30. Here it has the tag. This size is for the Birkin 30, but I have for the 35. I even have for my Keeple and other bags, and these are fantastic for storage, so your bags keep the shape, they don't sag into themselves. I just really love using them, so I'm gonna put this one inside of the Birkin. And this is the bag with the pillow on the inside, and it's made specifically for this bag on this size. If you go on the website, you're gonna be able to find for classic flaps, for Fendi, Celine, they have a lot of brands that they can offer. So I'm definitely going to link them on the description box down below because these have changed it for me, because I used to put paper or just anything that I could feel the space inside of the bag so it would just not collapse onto itself. And this is a bit more of a problem when it comes to bigger bags, but this has been a game changer for me. In terms of how I usually store my bags, when it comes to the Birkin, I always take all of the attachments that the bag has, like the key, the clochette, anything that could scratch the bag or leave dents, I take it off. And I don't always do it, but I try to always have the bag closed, just like this. And then you put the bag inside of the dust bag and you can put it on a shelf. I don't really store them laying down. I know that a lot of people recommend this, but I don't really do it. I never also store them inside of their boxes because the leather cannot really breathe, so only with the dust bag. And when it comes to day to day, I don't really put them inside of the dust bag because I like to look at my bags. I like to have them on my closet on display, but my closet is dusted super often. I try to make sure that everything is always clean. They usually don't have direct sunlight or anything like that, so it's not a problem. But if you have a really big space or you have direct sunlight, then I would say store them inside their dust bags is the best way to go. When it comes to a Chanel classic flap, usually the way that I store it is tucking the chain on the side. So you pull all of it from one side and you put it inside of the bag. All the bags have an organizer inside. It also helps to keep the interior scratch free and to keep the shape of the bag the best that it can. When I know that I'm not gonna use them in a little bit, I do put a little cloth right here so the chain does not indent, and I put it inside of its dust bag. There's two ways to do this. This is the one that I use when I have them on display, but if I'm gonna store them with the dust bags for quite a while, then you can put the chain on the second compartment of the dust bag. It has two slots, so this one is for the bag and this one is for the chain, and it goes in front of the bag and you just store the bag sitting upright. That is for storing. But when it comes to cleaning my bags, I usually use first alcohol-free baby wipes. I've done it for years. If I end up using a bag, I just give it a good wipe with alcohol-free baby wipes. But I recently got this cleaning kit also from Bag Essential. You can also find it on their website. By the way, it's not sponsored. Like, I really truly love this stuff and I use it quite a lot. So this is the leather cleanser, and I like using this with their own wipes, but you can also put this on the alcohol-free baby wipes. These are their leather cleanser wipes. I have not used the second packet because I had two. And of course a leather conditioner, because the leather also does dry from time to time. This is something that I do quite rarely. I cleanse them way more often than I use this. And this is the leather conditioner. With the baby wipes and a good leather cleanser, you should be completely fine. Always be careful with what you put on your bags. Test it first, because you never know the reaction that the leather or the fabric can have. I have never really had a bad experience with color transfer, but I've had little scares. So basically my advice is that if you notice color transfer, run for baby wipes and just try to wipe it off. And for me, it has always worked. Never risk it. I would never use a very light colored bag with a brand new pair of black jeans, because new clothes tend to bleed the color into sofas, even the wall, and of course into your bags. So the more a piece of clothing has been washed, the less chances that it's going to give color transfer. But still, I would say to be quite careful and be mindful. And if you're gonna wear a very dark colored outfit, to go for a darker bag. And if you're gonna wear a white or beige or a pastel outfit, then of course you can wear a light colored bag. So this is overall the things that I do with my bags. I try not to do too much and use them a lot. So yeah, I don't store them on their dust bags every single day, just when I'm not gonna use them for a while. I do really like seeing them, and I know that most people are gonna say to always store them in their dust bags, and I kind of agree. I just prefer not to do it because I like to display them, but this is to each their own. I don't know if the things that I do are the best practices, but it's what's been working out for me. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not to my channel, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you're not done watching, I'm gonna leave you two videos right here in case you want to check them out. Thank you, and see you on the next one. Bye.